Hello guys, and welcome to another replay analysis with Bargain Gilo versus Steak and Cheese. This guy could be a Protoss player or a big ass burrito, either way. Like, Steak and Cheese could be right here, guys. He could be right here, okay? This could be him right here. You never know, right?
Yeah.
You never know. But it is in fact a Protoss player, I'm sorry. It's not that burrito that I bought from Chipotle. This is not an ad, by the way. It's just Chipotle is pretty delicious. But yeah, I'm gonna eat that later. As soon as I'm done talking to you here, I'm gonna eat that after. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I probably made a bunch of people hungry right now. They're like, oh fuck, I want to eat now. But yo, guys, thank you for tuning in. This is a replay analysis. This is a diamond level Zerg versus Protoss. So basically, the way these work is, if you haven't seen one of these before, I help the person we're looking at, which is today is Bargain Gilo, the Zerg player. I help him figure out what he does right, what he does wrong, help him improve his styles against Protoss, or against whatever matchup it is, and today it's Protoss. Yeah, we're going to help him get better at StarCraft. So again, diamond level game, let's see what he does. Let's see what you do. What are you doing, Bargain Gilo? 17, okay, a little risky. Little risky boy over here. If you take it, okay, 17 hatch. I highly recommend 16 hatch, just because you can definitely get blocked a lot by a 16, or if you by a 17. This Protoss almost blocked you at 17, and if you came a little sooner, like after a pylon scout, for instance, or some shit, you would have been definitely blocked, and it would have sucked. It's not worth the 17 hatchery to go for it. It's way more annoying to get blocked than it is to just go for a 16 hatch. Now your gas pool follow up, 18-17 follow up is fine. I don't mind it. It's not a big deal. It's all G. Let's see how you choose to open the game from here. Let's see how you choose to open the game. Here's a. I don't really talk always about this kind of stuff, but here's a fun tip. Okay. Watch this. Notice how your drone is mining the minerals just before the hatchery's done. If you did one of two things, there's one way would be more efficient, which is if you watch the drone for a second here and you right click the hatchery as it was almost done, and the second it's done, if your drone was sitting right there, you just have the drone selected and you hit C, return cargo. It would immediately turn in the minerals there and it would turn it in here. Another way it would work is as soon as the hatchery is done, which is right now. It's now considered finished. If you hit C right now, before even running to the hatchery, if you hit C right now, the drone would then return cargo immediately right there because it's now the newest hatchery, and then it'll go back to mining minerals. So you would have saved yourself about 10 seconds of mining time, because in the process of going all the way up the ramp and then all the way back down the ramp, I bet we're going to be at 214 before this drone gets back to mining this minerals patch on this hatchery, which is about 10 minerals worth of money. So I bet, because watch this, we'll play and it'll be about probably 214 before you actually start mining this patch again. So right now, you just missed 10 minerals. Like, it's a little thing, but it's little things like this that if you just grab it, it's just, all it would have taken you is to go, see, move on. And it could have taken you a millisecond. And it's 10 more minerals right there in your pocket. So that's just a little tip for people who let their workers kind of just like roam around like that. You can definitely fix them by doing shit like that. Anyways, your build looks okay so far, but here's another thing. You should definitely be taking off your gas drones now, unless you're going to go for some type of a weird pressure in some way. If you go for overlord speed, it's okay, but I'm not the biggest fan. But you're still mining gas. Okay, you eventually, you're just a little late on taking it off. I'm glad you took it off. Could be a little bit better, obviously, but here's the biggest thing. It's not that huge of a deal though, and the reason why is because you're still able to spend your larva. As long as you can still spend your larva, little mistakes like that are not like, holy fuck, it's game ending, start over. Like, it's okay to make little subtle mistakes like this. As long as you spend your larva, you have to, like, if you were doing shit, like making a layer really fast and taking like a roach warren and a third base at the same time, I'd be like, all right, bro, you're not spending your fucking larva anymore. We got some problems. But you are still spending your larva for the most part. However, Okay, well, okay, it's just 2 lings. I thought it was 4. It's okay. This is okay. 6 lings is, I would say, the maximum of what's okay. I thought you were making another 4 lings again, though, after your first 4. I was like, okay, you're getting a little excessive on the lings here. This is okay. You're making drones again. It's all right. Your third base, though, these lings that ran down to your natural, you should have had a drone going with them, and you should have taken your third. Your third should have been started, like, already. Like, it should be going down now. It should go down around 30 supply. So, that's ideally what you want to do. And I would say, at the very beginning of the game, you ripped off minerals and put them on... Like, if your build... Here's the thing, okay? Check this out. Check this out. If your build is focused, okay? Your build is 100% focused on taking a third. I'm assuming this is. You haven't done it yet, but I'm assuming you're going to because you have no gas emphasis. So it makes sense to take a third. If your build's going to take a third, doing something as subtle as this is a little bit of a hiccup. Watch your mineral line go down to 14 for a second. Or 15, rather. It's... it would have gone to 15 if this new drone didn't spawn right then. But still, like, you're under ideal saturation is the point I'm trying to make here. That's not ideal. You're a little bit under. You're rushing gas a little bit harder than you have to. You could have definitely sat on 2 out of 3 gas and had your last drone fill up 3 out of 3 right here, and that would have been just fine. And then you, and then the second hiccup of you leave your drones on gas just a little bit longer. You go to 24 gas over 100, and then you rip them off. And then finally you go to 6 lings as well. These 3 things are all, I would say, minorly inefficient when it comes to your economy. 6 lings is probably the least damaging one out of all of those, because I think that is still appropriate. If you make 6 lings and an adept shows up, that still actually is okay. Just like if you make 6 lings versus a reaper. If you're someone who likes to play extra fucking safe to guarantee you lose no drones, that has justification to it. That's okay, because there's purpose there. But there's really no purpose for like the excessive gas in a PVZ to get speed ASAP. Like, it's super fucking fast. You don't need it that ridiculously quickly if you're not going to do something really aggressive. And then same thing with the gas not being neglection of like pulling your gas off right away at the right time. That also could have been, you know, more important. And the 6 lings is okay as long as you lose 0 lings. Because here's the thing. If you make 0 lings, the chances of you losing a drone are relatively high to an adept. If you make 2 lings, the chances of you losing a drone are relatively high. If you make 4 lings, the chance of you losing a drone are like medium. If you make 6 lings, the chance of you losing a drone are relatively low. Does that make sense? So the fact that you made 6 lings to be safe, I can't really critique you like in a way where it's really bad, because you're just playing overly safe. It's still viable though. It has purpose. But if you still somehow lose like 2 fucking drones and you made 6 lings, I'd be like, okay, what the hell's happening? No, like that's definitely, you overcommitted to the lings and you still somehow lost your drones. That's definitely not ideal. Like something's wrong here. But all of this combined, the 6 lings, the ripped off the mineral line, and the also delayed pull in the gas, means your third is late as fuck. Your third should be going down at like 230. 230 third, because the build you're doing is a Speedling 3 base expand. Let's see how long it takes your third to go down. 230. Your third goes down relatively early still, but it goes down at 257. So, I mean, a little bit late. Still a bit late. Ideally, you want to go down a little earlier than that, but it's not the worst because you still took it somewhat in the area of time, but it is late. You want that third to go down a little earlier than that, a little bit earlier. But again, you honestly, I would say this: with the larva priority you've done, you're not in that bad of a spot so far. This third, with the larva priority you've invested into, you still could have taken this third at like 240. With how you, or 245, with how you delayed your, like you fucked with your gas a little bit more than you should have. 245 would have been an appropriate time with that because of this. So 257 is just like a little too late. Like again, though, the ideal time you want to aim for is about 230, roughly. That's a great third. And the reason why 230 is a big deal is because you're going to notice the later your third is, the harder it's going to be to properly saturate it. And if you start doing shit like going, oh, I'm oversaturated on the natural, let's take our gases before we need them, that's really bad. You don't want to do shit like that. Now, going from here, I'm going to speed forward just a moment here. I want to see how you play this out for a second, and then I'm going to go look at your scouting. Okay, so you're making a lot of lings now, and we'll figure out why in a moment. You're making a fuckload of lings right now, and a spine crawler, and a lot more lings. Alright, so I want to see what you do with this before we really critique you. Okay, not bad. Yeah, that's why I don't want to, like, I'm not going to tell you that that's wrong, because you did the right thing. If you're going to make lings like that, you have to do what you just did. If you do fucking nothing, I'd be like, what are you doing? But you broke his third. I would say you're over-investing into it, though, now. These next lings, like, here's the thing. You made lings right now. You're making lings again right now, and you're making up to 6 more. This 100%, you have more larvae sitting there, so you could make a total of 12 lings right now. You can make a total of 12 lings right now. And if you did do that, that's incorrect. And here's why. What's going to happen is going to happen here. This is going to either destroy his nexus, or it's going to... this is either going to kill the nexus, or it's going to get destroyed. Like, your lings are going to die. It's either going to be a successful attack, or it's going to be destroyed. Like, your attack is going to get thwarted and defended. One of those is going to happen, and making new lings is not going to change anything else about how this first fight's going to go. These lings are not going to be across the map and helping. It's 4:45 right now. These lings would not be across the map and helping until about 5:25. Okay? Like 5:20. 5:20, 5:25. They're not going to be here for a long time, because you have to spawn them and then run across the whole map with them. So it's going to be a while before they get reinforced. So these lings are a waste. They should be drones. You already have enough, like, and here's the thing too. You should have the intention as well with your lings, because they're fast as fuck. They're agile. They squeeze through a lot of cracks all the time. They stack really easily and get out of places really easy. You should definitely be looking at his army when you take this fight and going, I could take that. I could definitely not worry about that. I can kill the base. Cool. Or, okay, that's a very formidable army. He built a lot of shit. I shouldn't fight that. Either way, okay? That's what should be happening with your lings. So if your lings don't die, good job, you're playing correctly. You shouldn't just throw your lings away if they're gonna engage something that's gonna kill them, is what I'm trying to say. Like, if this was like 7 adepts, obviously this is a really early third. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what I'm trying to say is the concept, okay? I'm trying to explain the concept of why making lings right now is fucking bad. They're not gonna change the outcome of this fight, and if you throw your lings away, what the hell are you doing, is what I would say. Like, why would you ever throw them away right now? There's no need to, because they're agile, they're the fast unit. You're gonna choose where you want to fight with these lings. It would only make sense to make more lings if the outcome of this fight turned into a situation where you could kill the nexus, and he had enough units to possibly kill your lings, and you decided to pull the trigger and commit on the nexus to kill it before your lings died. Then I'd be like, well, yeah, you lost, like, maybe you had 20 lings and you lost 16 out of 20 lings, but you killed the third, and you killed off, like, most of his army or something like that. But there's still some of his units left over that he won the fight in the end, but you still did a lot of damage in the process, like denying the third base. Then making some more lings would be okay. But ideally, you want to take guaranteed advantage fights here, where if you can easily overpower his army, yeah, go do that. Or if you can easily overpower a base, do that. Make drones behind this. Do not just get into a cycle of making lings. Because right now you have 10 fucking lings at home that are going to be sitting here again when you're already going to kill the base. This is just setting you further behind, which is why I look at your economy. Even though you're killing the third base, your drone count sucks ass compared to the Protoss. This is not, like, it's nice to kill the third. This is wasted investments for him. But you're throwing your lead away that you have because you're over-investing into lings. You're almost turning this into an all-in for yourself. So the concept is, these lings should never die. They shouldn't die because you have the ability to make them not die because they're super agile compared to what he has. You just do guaranteed damage wherever you can, and if it looks like you can easily kill the third, just like this, where the Protoss is like, I have 1 Stalker and 1 Sentry. Yeah, I really can't fight that. Great. That's great. But why would you make more lings right now? There's no reason to make lings here at all. You have 12 lings now. That's now 6 drones that could have been made. Because you have 6 out and you have 6 in production. So this is not the time to make lings. And you make it, okay, you stop making lings there for a second. How much larva do you have? You have 7 larva. And you're not spinning your larva either. You're also supply blocked. Okay, so you're getting a little bit tunnel vision-y with what you're doing. So now let's back it up and let's see what you scouted. Let's talk about your scouting. Let's talk about how to read Protoss. Okay, so your Overlord gets to his base right away. And you see a core that is almost done, a gateway that is done, a pylon. And I'm going to throw this out there, and I'm going to say that this pylon, you can already tell, okay? I can already tell you what his build is. Just from this. And obviously I know we just looked further in the game, but I'll explain why we can tell what this is. This is a double pylon opener in the front of his door, and it's core after Nexus. The reason why is because the core isn't done yet. The core is too late because the core is not finished yet, so that means there is a Nexus in his base at the natural being built. Also, that first pylon that you see right now with the Overlord is too far away to power the gateway. It's that if you killed this pylon, or if this pylon, you know, didn't exist, this gateway would still exist because this is not the first pylon he built. This is the second pylon he built. That pylon field is not literally, it's not literally that big. The pylon field is honestly about this big. Like it doesn't stretch all the way to the whole, like that gateway cannot fit here. This is like fucking far. I'm 99% sure. That pylon is really far from that gate. Like if it was over by 1, it would look okay. But that's so fucking, that looks so far away. So I would assume this is double pylon at the door. There's probably a second pylon right there. There's a Nexus going down, and this is a core. And if you do confirm there is a second pylon over here somewhere, or like right there or whatever, that means that there is no hidden. Your Overlord can see everything. There's no hidden nothing hidden. There's not gonna be no tech hidden. It's all gonna be thrown right here, all thrown down right here in your face. Yo, Joy, thank you very much, dude, for the 21-month resub. Welcome back, bro. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, thank you. And there you go. Look at the second pylon. As we said, that pylon looks appropriate for that gate. That pylon looks really far away for that gateway. That's just that's extremely far away. And you can see a Nexus as well. So yeah, you can already tell what he's doing. Double pylon is all the pylons he's gonna have right now. That is literally it. He has double pylon. That is it. And gateway core. This is his Nexus. This is his whole investment. There is nothing else that the Protoss has built at this point in time, other than his gases. So obviously he builds gases in his main. With this build, with the way it should be, is there should be one gas done early and a second gas done a little bit later. Like they're not going to be double gas early before the Nexus. This is one gas gate. His build is literally this: pylon, gate, Nexus, or rather, sorry, pylon, gate, gas, Nexus, gas, core pylon, or core gas pylon rather. Jesus, I said it wrong 2 times. Let me say it again to say it right. Sorry, I'm like reading chat and it's, yeah, my brain's fucked. Let me say it one more time. Okay, I'm focusing really hard right now. Pylon, gate, gas, Nexus, core, gas, pylon. That was his build. I said it correctly that time. Thank God. That is his build. The reason why I know that's what his build is because that is what is efficient with what he's done so far, and the timings of his buildings line up to that. I would say, to be fair though, I would say this: his build actually was probably not efficient. Now I'm getting crazy on you. Sorry, I said one thing and now I'm saying another. His build actually looks like it was this: pylon, gate, gas, Nexus, pylon, gas. I feel like we're going to see, if I looked at everyone's vision, he would have a gas in his main that's not done yet. And there you go. It's because he actually went pylon again before the gas. That's not correct. And I can tell this if we back up because the fact that the pylon's already done. See how there's no gas and he makes a pylon now. This is due to paranoia. Protoss being like, I don't want to die to lings. So this build is actually not as efficient as it could have been. It should have been gas before a pylon. And I know we're not doing a replay analysis of the Protoss, but I'm just telling you that if you see a second pylon that early with your Overlord, before the core is even done, the way the pylon is supposed to finish is the pylon is supposed to finish as the core finishes, not way before. So the fact that your Overlord gets here and you see a second pylon like right here, again, you know this is his second pylon. This is what I was saying, like you can already tell what his build is right now. The timing of the core means he has a nexus, and the timing of this second pylon, because you know this is the second pylon because it's too far away from the gateway to be the first pylon. This is kind of advanced scouting, but this is how much detail you have here. This tells you he went two pylon before gas, which also tells you this, okay? Here's what this tells you. This tells you that this dude has no gas focus in his build. He's going to still obviously use gas units, and he's still obviously going to make gases, but he is doing exactly what I told you to do, where he doesn't oversaturate the gas early and leave an undersaturated mineral line, and he doesn't stay on the gas too long, shit like that. Like, he's doing the efficient version of what Protoss is. He's not going for the gas-heavy Protoss. He's going for the mineral-heavy Protoss. So this build already, from this right here, is a mineral-focused build. You can already tell. This player likes his minerals. So, what costs minerals from Protoss? You should already be looking at this game going, okay, how can I abuse this guy for going minerals? And I'm going to tell you right now, the fact that you chose to go Zerglings, Speedling pressure, is not a horrible idea. Because this player, if he's a mineral-focused player, and he takes a really fucking greedy third base, and you punish him for that, oh, wonderful. That was not a bad choice. But you can already tell how his build is going from this right here, from all the things we just described. And now as we go further into his base, you see a natural that is almost done, and you see a Robo Bay. Now, that is another thing that would tell me, oh yeah, Speedlings aren't a bad idea. Speedlings are not a bad idea. Anyone who opens Robo, Speedlings are really good against them, because people who open Robo and they go for Immortal Sentry, Speedlings fucking destroy that, especially when they're paired with like Ravagers. It's amazing. It's fucking amazing for Zerg. The only thing that would be scary for you if you went Speedlings, if he goes Robo, is you have to be aware of things throughout the game and not overmake Lings for too long if this guy goes for like really fast Colossus or something like that, and he just sits there and turtles on Colossus. But again, based off the fact that this dude doesn't have a gas priority, as you can tell, because he went for double pylon early and he walled off really fast and he's gone for a Nexus early. Again, like I said, he's going to use gas still. I would say the chances of him going for Colossus really fast on two bases are less likely because of the fact that he's not prioritizing the second gas. Like, super fast. He's delaying it a little bit. And if you delay shit in this game, it does... Again, this is the whole concept of what I'm talking about when I talk about what is efficient and what is not efficient. I'm sure you guys have heard me say this probably 5 million times by now. If someone does something, if this guy goes Colossus build, let's just say this guy were to do a 2-base Colossus build, it's less efficient now than it could have been. And this is very minor. I'm not going to say, oh, it's game breaking. He made a second pylon before the second gas. The build sucks now. No, that's not entirely what I mean. But that does show you that this player doesn't like to do things efficiently. So he might do it more often. There might be multiple things done inefficiently, and if there's too many things done inefficiently, the build becomes weak as fuck. And automatically the build is already slightly weaker. If the build was done perfectly, and the build could have been done at 100% efficiency, just because he went for the second pylon before the second gas, and then he were to take a second gas, if it was going to be like a 2-base Colossus all in, instead of 100%, it's now down to like 97. It's a little bit weaker than it could have been before, because now everything's a little bit late now for gas, because his gas is delayed, and gas is pretty fucking important. Having 50% of your gas for an extra like 10 seconds is a pretty big deal. In terms of like, oh, well now my Robo is now 4 seconds later. My Robo Bay is now 4 seconds later. My Colossus are 4 seconds later. This gives Zerg a little bit more time to prepare for what I'm doing. And if your build is literally like hitting a fucking pristine timer, yeah, like every moment you waste time is going to weaken the little bit of your build. So this is a little bit of a weaker version of if it was, again, like a Colossus build. So when you see people make their path of what they're going into, like they have a plan, right? This guy is all about his fucking minerals. He's probably not going to go Colossus. And if you're wrong, and if he does go Colossus, every time he does inefficient shit, it makes it weaker and weaker and weaker because it's inefficient. So even if you're wrong, you're okay. Like it's easier to deal with it. That is literally the concept of StarCraft. And if you don't know how to if you don't understand what's efficient, what is or isn't efficient, I mean, you'll learn that over time. That takes experience. That's not something that you can just like snap your fingers and you know everything. But for instance, like just now what I told you, it makes no sense to have a pylon finish before the core. They should finish at the same time. And the only way you can justify that he made a pylon before the core is one of two reasons, okay? Number one, he cut probes. probably not the case. That's really awful. That's the more awful option here. He probably didn't cut probes to make a gas and a pylon. He probably didn't do that. But what he probably did was the second option, was he delayed his gas to make the second pylon, and then he went gas. Because you saw the pylon was done way before the core was done, which is inefficient. It means he had oversupply and he has wasted gas time now for a build like this, for, you know, a tech boy. So what that means is he had an oversaturated mineral line for longer than he should have. So he has a little bit more money. It's like a little bit, it's still inefficiently mined, but it is a little bit of a bonus in minerals. But it would have been better for gas if he was going to do a gas focused build. I really want you guys to understand that concept because it tells you how people play. Like, a lot of people probably hear me right now talking and they're like, who fucking cares, man? We're talking about the difference of like 12 gas. Like, whatever. It's really not a big deal. But it's literally a tendency of a player that tells you how they play. And you can literally predict what they're going to do in the future by reading tendencies. It is fucking super important if you want to actually know. You can predict his movements before he does them now, if you think about the game like that. You already know he's a mineral focused player now. And what do mineral focused players do? They fucking expand. They play greedy. They do zealot shit. That's the kind of player the mineral focused player is. And the fact that he went for a robo kind of tells you he's also probably going to expand because this auto, the robo rules out zealots. It's not going to be charge lots right now, because if it was zealots and if it was going to be charge lots, it would have been a council first, not a robo. So now you should be thinking he's going to expand. He's mineral focused and he opened robo. And look at you saw the probe also cross. So even more so. Now your overlord, I don't really like the positioning of your overlord, I'm not going to lie. I would prefer it to be like right there, just over the cliff. Just because this is kind of unnecessarily exposed. It's going to die if he just makes a stalker. It should die. Thank you for, I'm glad you moved it. That's good. Now, I would say the amount of lings you made, 32. You're going a little bit in the deep end of territory of lings here. 32 is a massive, I just want you to know this. 32 is a ridiculously large investment of lings. And you're not even done yet. You're making 4 more. 32 lings is fucking huge, alright? That is big. What I think you should aim for is between 20 and 24. And you also did this. Here's the crazy thing too. This is what I think is a little risky for you. You did this. I want to see when you start making lings, like a lot of them. You're making 2 more lings for the scouting, or like to deny his adept or whatever if he makes one early to attack you. But I want to see when you make more lings. Do you do it as you see the probe cross? I mean, you just saw the probe, and you make a lot of lings now. I don't know if I'm a big fan of this, because just because he's mining minerals down here, like yeah, it's very commonly like his probe crossed and you made lings as a result of that. It's very common that he's gonna have a nexus there. That's probably what it means. And I would say if you actually paid attention to this mineral focused aspect of the player, I would be like, it's kind of blind, but it also is an educated guess. But I would love it if this overlord didn't just fucking sit on its ass the whole time, and it actually scouted the nexus. Or if one of your first lings that you made, one of the first 4, scouted across the map when you saw the adept was not going to attack you. The fact that you did it blindly is a risk. That is not good. Because if this guy did not actually expand right now, like you're just putting yourself into a hole right now, essentially. Secondly, the spine crawler. So again, I just want you to confirm that it's there before you really commit like this. Like I want you to confirm that you see it start. Like have your overlord be like, oh yeah, Nexus just started 3 seconds ago. Or a Zergling over here is like, yeah, Nexus started 8 seconds ago, or whatever. Just, if you're gonna make a, like pull the trigger on a fucking lot of lings like this, you have to confirm it. Otherwise, you're honestly flipping a fucking coin, just being like, I hope it works. Hopefully. Because if your opponent catches wind of what you're doing early, and he doesn't hit, like, what if he hadn't actually built the Nexus yet? What if he was gonna, but he hadn't actually built it yet? Because he was like, oh, I only have 200 minerals. I'm gonna build it in a second. And he sees with an observer, or like a hallucinated phoenix or something, holy shit, that's a lot of lings coming to my base right now. Let's not build the 3rd anymore. Let's build 1 more shield battery, and let's just do a 2 base all in now.
Yeah.
Let's like make Colossus instead. Like that would suck
nice
ass
to see
for you.
Again, ViBE.
That would not be good for you. That's because, again, you're already at a probe drone deficit. This is huge. You've put yourself into a situation where you have to do damage, otherwise you're fucked. So the way you did this was risky because you don't know if he has one yet or not. So you got to confirm that shit. And you overinvested too. I would say 32 lings is a bit excessive. You should probably go to like 20 to 24 and stop there. That's already a lot. That's like one full page of lings. That's plenty to overpower a Nexus versus like 2 fucking units from a gateway. This is getting in the realm of overcommitted. Yo, thank you guys for the subs. KASM, appreciate the Prime, man. Thank you. And Coliosis, thank you very much for the 6-month resub, dude. Welcome back. Much appreciated, boys. Love you guys. Thank you. Now, the spine crawler as well, irrelevant. If you're going to make a bunch of lings like this, I don't understand the spine. It makes no sense. There's no reason to make a spine. If you're worried about getting counterattacked, that is irrelevant. Because if you're thinking to yourself, if you've confirmed that this guy's going to take a third really fast, there is no sense or no form of a counterattack that can hit you. It's impossible. This is so greedy by the Protoss. If you've confirmed it that he's taking it this fast, a standard third for Protoss should go down around 4:45-ish. Taking a third at like 4 minutes, he took it like 3:30. That is like 1 gate third base. That is fucking ridiculously greedy, and is exactly what he's doing. And if you confirmed it, that'd be great. I just want you to confirm it again. But again, 20 to 24 lings could easily knock out 1 gateway worth of production in the middle of nowhere. And then once you have the lings out, again, like I said before, make drones behind this. You're totally missing the drone window. You're way over investing into this pressure. And it did do damage for you, but I would say, here's the crazy thing. You killed his third, okay? This is what I think. You killed his third. You actually like killed all the other buildings there. You made him either cancel it or you physically killed it. You didn't kill his army though. And I would say after you did that damage to him, you guys, the way the game would balance out from there would be you guys would break even. Believe it or not, I feel like you broke even after you killed his third. And the reason why is because you over-invested into your pressure. You just went a little too deep in the ling territory, and like now the spine too. It's way too, because you're not even done making lings right now. You make more lings again. Like you keep making lings here. And you already have too many as it is. This is too much. You killed a sentry, like 2 probes, a gateway, a pylon, a battery, and a nexus. That was great damage. That was good damage. You've killed a lot of his stuff right now. This is a lot of resources lost for Protoss. It looks like you're ahead, right? You probably feel like, yeah, dude, I'm totally fucking ahead right now. But you're not, in my opinion. Look at the income. Like this dude, yeah, I mean, you guys have similar mineral incomes, but he's like crushing you right now in terms of pacing of the game with 2 base still. Like he can recover. So I feel like you if you, because you're going to do this, like I'm going to say this right now. You would have done this damage you did to him if you had 24 lings, or if you had 32 a second ago, and I think you just lost some lings too. You lost 6 lings here. So you should be at 38 with 6 more in production. So you should have 44 fucking lings here that just got made. You could have done the same damage. Instead of having 44 lings, you could have 24 lings. And instead of having the excess of 20 lings over, that could have been 10 drones. And your drone count right now could have been 43 versus 40. Then I would say you have the lead. You overcommitted so hard here. You actually would have had 44 drones, because this spine wouldn't exist, and you'd have a bonus 100 minerals in your pocket again. Like, it's... Yeah, and you're not macroing as much as you should be. So you're not injecting during this attack at all. Definitely want to do that. You also have no queen set up for your third base. You definitely want to do that. And as soon as you set your queen up for your third base, you want to have another queen at least started to set up your creep again. You're 100% missing the beat on your macro while doing this. Hardcore. Fucking hardcore. And now I would say, here's the crazy thing. And this is assuming your opponent is playing mostly efficient, okay? You have to assume your opponent can play efficient. You should always play the game thinking that, which is how I read people. I don't read people by going, I have no idea what you're capable of. You could either be a complete fucking noob or a pro. No, that's fucking stupid. Don't think about the game like that. Think about the game in a sense where once you get to a certain point where you're able to macro, and your opponent should be able to macro as well, they can play efficiently. And if we're talking about efficiency, I would say you overinvested into the lings, which is why I would say this is a break-even kind of situation, in my opinion, honestly. You sacrifice so much of your tech. You're like in the Stone Age of Zerg still, but you have a decent economy. But you overinvested into lings, so you don't have a good economy. You have a decent economy. You have as much as he does. But the problem is, is this looks like a standard game, and here's why. Your opponent already has a Robo Bay. This is equivalent to fucking Hive Tech for Protoss. This is tier 3 for the Robo. Okay? And you haven't even started a layer yet. And you both have 2 base economy. This is like, just like, for instance, you both have gone 2 base, and you didn't go for a 3rd base economy. You didn't go for 2 base tech. Your opponent went for 2 base tech. That's literally what the game has been reset into right now, right at this point in time. So you have the ability to take a faster 3rd base, but you have no tech. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, this game looks just like it would if you didn't even kill this, and he just went 2 base tech at the pacing of what your drones look like. That's what I'm trying to tell you right now. That's why I say you break even. Because for what has happened, where he invested into a 3rd and you killed it, the only way I could justify you being in a lead now while he's teching into fucking Robo Bay is if this base had like 12 drones on it, or like 16 drones on it, or 10 drones on it. You should definitely have a lot more drones than you do. You have no drones at the 3rd. So this does not mean you're ahead. His tech is just starting. Your drones are getting ready to be started as well for your 3rd base. You haven't actually made them yet, but like you could make them. So I would not say you're ahead. A lot of Zergs would look at this and be like, I'm fucking ahead, yes. But no, you're not. For the way this is going for your pacing, you're not. You're overinvested, for sure. And again, you have to be careful too, because if you overinvest into Lings and he goes Robo Bay now, like what did I say before? If he goes Colossus, that could suck for you if you go Mass Lings now. We said that probably like 10 minutes ago in this replay analysis. And that's exactly what this is turning into now. So now you're starting your tech and you're taking a 4th and you haven't made drones yet. So now I would say, now your plan is kind of going out the window. You need a plan, okay? You fucking need a plan. If your plan is to open up 3 base Speedlings and you rip off the gas, and you go into a 3rd base, like you're going mineral focused, do it. You need to do a mineral focus, and you need to saturate this 3rd. That is what that build is efficient by doing. However, if you're gonna go for a layer rush after Zerglings and not make any drones forever, your build should have not even had a 3rd. Your build should have also never taken drones off the gas. Your build should actually just be 2 base layer. I'm not saying 2 base layer is great, by the way, but the way you're playing it out, it feels like that's what it should have been. I don't understand why you take a layer so fast now, and you have no fucking drones really. It does, like, this layer, all it does is it stunts your build. You get stuck back in the Stone Age, and I think it's because you're not really sure what to do here, which is fine. That's okay. It's just you have to kind of, like, when you go down a path with a build, you need to kind of commit to that path to a degree. Like, for instance, going for drones right now does not mean you're going to die. Because this dude just invested into a 3rd, and you killed it, so he has no momentum to kill you right now, okay? So reacting to what he has now, where you're like, oh, I can't kill him on 2 bases, and he has a Robo. Let's react by going for a layer. It doesn't make any sense because he can't attack you. He invested into a 3rd and it failed. If he was going for Robo from the very beginning and he was preparing for an all-in the whole time, then yeah, you probably would be getting attacked soon, but then I would have hoped that you didn't make Mass Lings and just sit here, you know what I mean? So, like, the fact is that, like, again, what I'm trying to say is the fact that you're rushing a layer now makes no sense that there was no gas priority. Like, what is the point of this layer? I guarantee if I 525, I'll remember that. We'll come back to it in a second. We're going to rush this now and see what you do with the layer. Like, what actually happens with your layer rush. So it's done around, like, 6:13. Now, what do you do with the layer? Let's see what you do. 6:13 was when you made it. You made a Hydrogen. Okay. Now your Hydrogen is done at 7:14. This Hydrogen's like a 40-second build time. It's a 29-second build time. I quoted that way high. So your Hydrogen was a bit late. You made the Hydrogen like 30 seconds after you made the layer, after it was done. So that's already a delayed Hydrogen. Now what do you do with the Hydrogen? It was done at 7:14-ish. Do you see what I mean though? Now you're making a Spire. So there is no point to a layer priority. You have done nothing with the layer that is justified why you rushed it at all. And again, I'm not even saying you should go for the layer. I don't even want you to take a layer when you did, because you took a layer before you even used your larva when you did a mineral priority opener. You went for a third base, and you didn't saturate shit forever, and then you took a layer. And then you did nothing with the layer. You've been on layer for we're coming on 3, going soon to 4 minutes here. And you have done literally nothing with the layer. You're making your first 3 hydras right now. That is, it's just pointless. There's no reason to have a layer at this point in time. What should have happened, again, is you over-invested into lings, and then you run into a really quick tech. Your build, your pacing just dropped off a fucking cliff, and now your pacing at first, up until you started making lings, your pacing was like of GM level. Or no, not even. You did a little bit fucked up shit with your gas. It was of like, I would say of diamond level, because it was a little bit of a hiccups with your gas. It's still respectable though. It's still okay. And your third was a little late. It was not GM level though, because of those reasons. Those are already little mistakes already right there. But I would say it's of like diamond level. But then it's the second you went for that like beyond like 24 zergling, where you overinvested into like 44 fucking lings, you made static D, and then you went for a really quick layer follow-up without injecting and shit. Your build honestly went from like diamond down to like fucking silver league. I'm dead serious. The pacing of your build went to a very weak build compared to what it was a second ago. It's like it just dropped. So go back to like when it was, you know, back to when we were having problems here, and follow the pacing of what your build should be. Imagine if your build actually injected your hatcheries. Imagine if your build actually spent your larva properly. And imagine if you actually saturated your third appropriately, and you injected your third properly with this creep queen, and you made a 4th queen to, you know, you have the idea to the degree, but you're just not doing it as much as you should be, because you're overemphasizing these lings here. Like, it should literally be, you read the build, you go, oh cool, 1 gate fucking, you confirm the greedy ass expansion. You go, cool, you're greedy as fuck, I'm gonna make a round of lings, make 24 or whatever. Go kill the third, make drones while you do it, because you know the Protoss doesn't have a formidable army here, which is why you're reacting by making lings to kill it. That's why you're doing it. Obviously you're not going to make lings, because it shouldn't be a question mark where you're like, I don't know if this will work or not. But here's the thing too. I feel like you make 44 lings and you feel like it's acceptable because you don't know if it is or not. Like, sometimes you attack Protoss and they defend it, and sometimes you attack Protoss and they don't defend it, and you're like, why is this? I don't know. Who fucking knows? The earlier the third, the less production he has. That's just how it works. And if you ever fight a Protoss who takes a third base at like 440 with like 4 gates, and you're like, well, I made 44 lings and I attacked him around 5 minutes and it didn't really work, you know, whatever. You're like, okay, now I'm in a panic mode where I make more shit and it seems weird. Well, he's making a standard build, and yeah, a standard build that's safe shouldn't die to a ling run by. But if you fight a guy who takes a third base at 330, that is ridiculously greedy. And that is like a 1 gate third base. And if you react by making lings, then you should know that there is no defense possible from the Protoss. Like, if you make lings, that is risky as hell. That is way too greedy to be efficient. It's just risky is what it is. Because if it gets punished, it'll die. So if you know that, and you go, cool, I'm just going to make my 24 lings and move along with my life, and I'll just go back to macroing afterwards. No matter what happens, call it a day. If he has the best, if he's like literally parting, and even though he only has 1 gate and he goes for a third at 330 and it's ridiculously greedy, and you think to yourself, this should never work, but he gets himself in this weird position where he has like this little surface area weird positioning where he blocks your lings out, maybe he has a sentry force field you out as well, and he somehow gets it off. And you're like, what the fuck, I can't actually break this. Don't overinvest. Because like I said before, once your initial lings get out across the map, whatever happens is going to happen. Either you break it or he defends it. Oh, and in general, the greedier he is, the easier it will be for you to break it.
Less than 3.
Thank you very much, Marine Jester Prime, for the sub. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Much love. Welcome back. Hell yeah. But the greedier he is, the easier it will be to break, vice versa. The safer he is, the harder it will be to break. But the more overinvested you are, the further behind you fall, no matter what. That's a guarantee for you. Like, there is overinvesting in no matter what he does, there is a way you can overinvest, which is you make too many lings. And you overinvest into like other shit that's not drones right now. So you're kind of missing the beat on this build, as we talked about. I've explained it many ways. I hope it makes sense by now. But overinvesting fucks you over because it sets the pacing for your follow-up to be horrible. So yeah. You shouldn't be paranoid about a counter attack or something like that, because it's not viable if he's taking a third really fast. And then there should be already drones being made. And you should be really well saturated. Because again, your build should be delayed gas, which is what it is. And it should be a mineral focus. Mineral focus. And you could then take a 4th base just like you did. But when you took your 4th base, you know what should have happened? See how you took this base? This is a greatly timed 4th base. I'm going to throw this out there and say that. This is a very well timed 4th base. But you know what I don't like? This should already be fully saturated. Honestly. This should already have 16 drones on it. At this point in time. 100% guaranteed. And then, once you're fully saturated on base, and you have this base started, and based on whatever happened here, if you still have lings, you could be greedier with drones. If all your lings died, you could maybe make some new lings to guard yourself. We're talking like maybe another like 16 or some 20 or some shit. Or you could go into like roaches, based on what he's doing. But in general, you should have fully saturated mineral lines, and then you could explode after you're fully saturated on mineral lines and larvae everywhere with all your queens and all your hatcheries. You could then go into gas, layer, go into hydras, and so on. Go from there. Your layer is way too fast. Your gas, and then you know your build's just getting fucked up now because you have no larva priority, no drone priority. Your build is now pacing like absolute crap, even though you killed the 3rd. So now I would say the way you've kind of followed it up, I feel like you're almost behind now because you've disregarded. Like, here's the thing. I gotta throw this out there. Okay, you just made like 10 drones. Thank God. And you're having another 8. Okay, so you're recovering now. You're about to be at 69 drones in a second here, in like 4 seconds or 3 seconds. Thank God you did that, because as of like 2 seconds ago, you were like behind Protoss in economy. Okay, I skipped it again. Okay, like right here. This is not great. 710. Protoss has 49 probes, and you have 50 drones. This is not good. This is not where you want to be with Zerg, especially if you're going to go for Hydras. So, I mean, I'm glad you're making a fuckload of drones right now. You're making 21 at the moment now. This is great, but this should have happened when you broke his 3rd. It's a little late, is all I'm saying. And every second counts, right? But I mean, at least you did it, though. And you're still not a great drone count either. It's not ideal yet. So I'm glad you're still making more. You should definitely keep making more. Good. This is good. And the reason why you should keep making more, you once again did not confirm it. You're assuming it's there. You need to confirm shit more often, I would say. Confirm the 3rd. I know it's there. You know it's there. But really confirm it. The reason why I want you to confirm it is because if he makes it look like it's there, but it's really not, and he just goes for an all-in against you, and you just get in the process of going drones, you will die. And some Protosses will do shit like that to you. Like if this guy just ran a probe down here and made a pylon, and you just look at the pylon, you're like, yeah, there's a 3rd there. I know it is. There's totally a 3rd there. Like it's questionable is all I can say. Like, you really want to make sure you confirm it is all I'm saying. You guarantee it's there. Because then your chances of dying to weird ass all-ins they go to 0. It's just risky by not confirming it is all it is. Alright, so from here, your drone count is 76. That's somewhat respectable. It's not bad. It's fine. 76 is fine. It's not the worst. I would love 80, but 76 is not bad. And the reason why is because you're playing a 4-base build, so you might as well play a 4-base build. You're playing under a 4-base build right now. Now, here's the thing, too. As soon as you made those 21 drones, the idea was your 4th base got saturated, right? As soon as you do that, no matter what game you're in with Zerg, as soon as you saturate your 4th base, you should be taking a 5th base. Always. If the game is not like you're getting all into the moment and you're about to die. And you're like, oh fuck, I can't afford a hatchery right now. You definitely can afford a hatchery. There's no reason why you couldn't have. Take a 5th base as soon as you saturate your 4th base. And the reason why is because Zerg is going to mine their main base out shortly after that. And now you have nowhere to send your drones to. And also, it gives you more larvae, and you are having some money problems right now. So more larvae would definitely be helping you. Okay, so you're going Roach, Hydra, Spire right now, and an Infestation Pit. If this Spire is for the purpose of a Greater Spire and a Hive, your Spire is too early. Your Spire should be started as you start the Hive, not as you start Infestation Pit. Which is, again, another thing that just slows your money down, if that's what you're doing. You're going a Hive right away. And, yeah, I feel like this is for a Greater Spire. A Spire and a and a Hive have the exact same build time. It's 71 seconds. So you should be pairing the Hive with the Spire. Because, again, your max out is starting to be really, really, really late. Like, you're just doing multiple... And this is that thing again where I talked about. Each little inefficient thing slows you down. And what your build looks like right now is it looks like a mid-game Roach Hydra max. And this build performs the best with timings that hit your opponent's 3rd or 4th base. You do not want to fucking wait too long, because the longer you wait, the more supply your opponent has. And I'm going to throw it out there and say, with the money you have, 100% you already could be maxed out. You could easily already be maxed out with everything that's already happened in this game. Just if you had spent the money that you've given yourself. I honestly think you could max out with Ling pressure like you did if you followed up into drones and shit behind it. You could max out at like 845 with that. But right now, you could already be maxed out now if you just had the money that these are spent a little earlier, and then this money spent into Hydra and Roach. You could easily be maxed. See, like right now, you should be pressuring his 4th base. Like, you should be killing this. If you let him have bases, your chances of losing go up. This build is all about... Roach Hydra is all about starving your opponent. And I know it's not the only thing you're going to be doing. I already know you're going to go Greater Spire, because you have a Spire. And you have a Hive going up right now. It's not your in-game plan to go Roach Hydra. But it makes no sense to max on Roach Hydra and do that first, and then also not take advantage of the window of time that they can be beneficial to you. If you max on Roach Hydra and you sit there, or you max late on Roach Hydra because of you prioritize other shit, it weakens your timings. And then if you still anyways max on Roach Hydra, it makes your timing absolutely shitty. Like, what's gonna happen now is you could have maxed again. Okay, hold on. Let's just talk.
Just got a job offer. Thanks for being cool and the words of encouragement when I got canned 4 months ago. Make RD Roach.
Yo, Tricon, thank you very much for the 10, man, and congrats on a job offer, dude. You're gonna crush it, bro. Fucking crush it. Hell yeah. Thank you for the 10 for supporting the stream. You're welcome to stay here. Like, yo, chill out. Take your mind off things. Thank you very much, man. Fucking crush it. You're crushing life right now, dude. Keep it up. Hell yeah. Congratulations. All right, 9:45. Let's keep this in mind, okay? 9:45. Better larva usage. It's better money spinning. Easily at this game with everything that's happened, you could have already maxed, okay? Just keep this in mind. And again, if you just had done everything more efficiently from all the things we talked about before this, you could max out way earlier than 9:45. I don't want you to think 9:45 is a good checkpoint. It's really not. It's really late anyways. But in this game particularly, you could have maxed at 9:45 if you just had the larva and you didn't supply block. Because you easily could have enough larva. You have so much energy on these queens. Okay? That's what I'm trying to say here. But look at what's happening on his base at 9:45. He's got 3 Colossus, 7 Stalker, 1 Sentry, 5 Templar with Storm, and 2 Zealot and an Immortal. This is still a formidable army. But I do think if you attacked him at this base, you would probably lose your whole... you would probably still lose the fight if you were maxed right now. But you would expend all of his storms. You would probably kill the majority of his army. It would probably be a trade. Like, you guys would wash each other's army out of the game. And then you would kill the 4th as well. That's what I feel like would happen if you fought here. If you just ate a few juicy ass storms and his Colossus were just wiping you out. But at the same time, you have so much DPS that is there that you're just bursting shit down. You guys would both just wipe each other out, and he might live with like maybe 1 or 2 Colossus left alive, and that's it. That's what I feel like would happen. Now, you could easily remax from there because it would put you at a point where you starve him out because he couldn't transfer probes. He would have literally this base, and this base, and no 4th base. This wouldn't exist. But I feel like with how long you wait now, because again, 9:45 is when you should be hitting him with the game you've given yourself here. Look at how long it takes you to hit him. Let's see when you do hit him. Let's go fast forward now. His army's going to be much bigger than it was. So now you hit him finally at 11:33. You hit him almost 2 minutes later. And now he still only has 3 Colossus. Now instead of having like what, 5 Templar it was, now he's got 11 Templar. He still has the same amount of sentries. Now he has double the Stalkers. And now a Disruptor as well. He just has more shit. It's putting you into a deeper and deeper hole because you're not prioritizing this as much as you should be. You're getting these late fucking timings. And it's because, again, the main reason why your timings are so delayed is because you over-invested into your Lings killing his third. So although it felt good, you actually overcommitted hardcore as fuck, and you put yourself in a hole now where you're behind. 20 to 24 Lings is all you need for that timing. And this is the result of all of it. You're in this weird position now. And now you're making Corruptor, and you're making Roaches as well. Okay, so you're going Carapace. If you're gonna go Broodlord, don't get an upgrade before you make a Greater Spire. You make Greater Spire first, and then you make Broodlord. If you were going Carapace Corruptors, that would only make sense versus Skytoss. It does not make sense to do Colossus. So don't ever go Carapace Corruptors versus Colossus Stalker. That's not going to do shit for you. Like, the Stalkers are going to beat the shit out of your Corruptor if they do or don't have Carapace. And so is Storm. Don't do that. If that's your plan, because the reason why I'm wondering if that's your plan, because it's the reason why I'm wondering that is because you're still making Roaches up until a second ago. You've remade a whole wave of Roaches. It doesn't make any sense if you're going to go Broodlord. You also haven't made a Greater Spire, which doesn't make any sense if you're going to go Broodlord. What you should be making right now, as soon as you get ready to go, like once you max out Roach Hydra, you do the damage you can. You remax, if you're going to go Broodlord, you remax Broods and Lings. All gas goes to Broodlord, and then you finish off with Lings, and you keep him busy with run-bys if you can, otherwise you just have Lings. But Broodlords are, yeah. I feel like you're going to go Broods at some point, because your build doesn't make any sense for Corruptor Carapace. You're going Roach Hydra again. See, like this, I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense again. And now you're going into Lurker upgrades. If you're going to go Lurker upgrades, the process of you making a Spire and Corruptors at all makes no sense. And the reason why is because if I would ask you, if you're going to go Lurker now, like Lurker Hydra is okay. The fact that you're going Roach Hydra still, and if you're going to go into Lurker eventually, that's okay. But then if I was like, why are you making Corruptor then? And if you were to answer that question by going, oh, it's because he has Colossus, I would rebuttal that by saying, yeah, but Lurkers can counter Colossus just as good as Corruptors can, possibly even better. And the reason why I say even better is because Lurkers not only counter Colossus just as hard as Corruptors do, but Lurkers also counter Stalkers really fucking hard, and Corruptors don't do shit to anything else besides the Colossus here. Like, Corruptors would fly in and die while trying to kill the Colossus. Lurkers can shove the Protoss backwards against everything he has here except the Disruptor. But if you get Hive Tech upgrades, you can actually counter Micro Disruptor. Because you can, as soon as he shoots the orb at you, you can up burrow, run away, shot blows up, you re-burrow, push him again. So Lurker would be a much better choice here if that's what you want to do. But now I don't understand. Now you're going Greater Spire, and I don't understand the... Like, you're doing two builds at once. It doesn't make any sense. If you're going to go Broodlord, stop making Roach Hydra, make Lings, and go Broods. If you're going to go... because you need the Broods, you need gas for it. You don't have infinity gas, and the only way it feels like you have infinity gas is if all your timings are like 5 minutes late, because you're not actually being efficient. And if you're gonna go Lurker Hydra, stop making Corruptors. Like, these builds do not pair well together. You can't go Corruptor Broodlord Roach Hydra Lurker. Like, it's too much of everything. Like, you don't have the gas to afford all of this. Otherwise, it'll be like 3 Lurkers and 3 Broodlords, and you know, it's like that doesn't do shit anyways. So again, the fact that you're going back into Roach Hydra, what you should be doing right now is looking for expansions. Don't let him expand. Roach Hydra sucks ass if you allow your opponent to take base after base after base after base. And that's what your army is mainly focused on. You're just letting him take bases all over the place. This is good. You didn't scout it though, you just ran here blindly. But I'm glad that maybe you saw the pylon here with your Overlord. I don't know. But you need to scout a lot more. Your scouting is definitely like non-existent. Make some changelings with your Overlords and send them to expansions. Do whatever. Scout in some way. Your scouting in this whole game has been pretty lacking. Like, your Overlord, you didn't confirm anything as well early on, which is what I'm talking about. And now you're not scouting shit again. Your creep spread's great. Your creep spread's your best aspect of your play. Creep spread for Diamond League, this is not bad. It's definitely good. Your injects need some fucking work though. Honestly, I would say make yourself have patterns. Make sure you have a pattern that's associated with every time I inject, I creep spread. Every time I inject, I creep spread. Every time I inject, I creep spread. Like, make rotation cycles of your mechanics, because your creep spread is diamond. Like, I would say it's definitely Diamond League. This is like maybe a little under Masters for the fact that it's 14 and a half minutes already, but it's definitely Diamond League. This is definitely diamond level creep spread. It's good. It's on par for where you're at. Your injects though are like Gold League or like Silver League. Like, they're just missing themselves over and over and over. Like, you have 400 energy here on these queens. You have 182 here on this queen. You have 200 on that queen. You have 184 and 200 on this queen. That is so many fucking injects. That is 8 or 7 injects per queen that is missing. And that's 5 queens that I just went over and looked at. Or 6 rather. Sorry, 6 queens. That's ridiculous how many injects that is. It's like 40 injects that have been missed. And that's not even including the fact that it's 200. It could be more than that. This could be at 300 if it could keep going infinitely. Who knows? I haven't been paying a lot of attention to your injects. I just know that every time I look at them, you're not doing it. So it's a problem. And then this fight right here, this is kind of what I'm talking about. This is not ideal for Roach Hydra. Roach Hydra would like to have taken this fight at 9:45. And you want Roach Hydra is a preventative army. Just, you have to realize this. Roach Hydra is preventative. You prevent the Protoss from getting to this stage. If the Protoss gets to this stage and you still have Roach Hydra, you've lost the game. This army needs to be dealt with lurkers. That'd be fine. And you have access to it. You just didn't make them. Or like Broodlords. Again, you have access to it, but you didn't make them. You're going Roach Hydra Corruptor with potential Broodlord and Lurker tech in the back. You don't want to be doing that. Ideally, you want to prevent the Protoss from getting to this point if you're going to stick to Roach Hydra longer like you did. Like, you kept remaxing Roach Hydra. And just sitting on it. Because what I expect to happen now is the Protoss is going to drop maybe 15 supply here. And you're going to drop like 100 if you take this fight. It's just going to be Storm Colossus carnage with a couple of units in the front line that die, while he also gets healed by a shield battery. You back off. You see, like, as you back off, I agree that you back off. You should definitely be replacing some of your army now into better shit. Like, if I watch you remake Roaches and Hydras or Corruptors right now, I'm going to be like, you're keeping yourself in this hole of death that you'll never get out of. Because, again, this army needs to prevent the army from getting here in the first place by killing economy and not allowing him to ever go beyond 3 bases. Because this army would not exist like it does if he didn't have access to these resources or these resources. If that never existed and all he had access to was this, this, and this, because you kept killing every expansion, he would not have as much money as he does. He would not have a bank like he does. And now you're losing control of the game. And what are you making behind it? You're making Corruptor. So you're choosing to go, and here's the thing again, like, this makes no sense again. You're choosing Corruptor. So you should be going for Broodlords. But then you choose Hydras, which means you should be going for Lurkers. You can't do all of it at once. You need to pick and choose. It literally be Lurker, Broodlord, or sorry, Jesus. It should be Broodlord, Corruptor, because he has Carrier now too, right? So it doesn't make any sense to go Lurker Broodlord now, which is what it almost, like, it also makes no sense to go Hydra Corruptor. The point is I'm trying to make here is he has a very versatile army. It's well-rounded, okay? He's got anti-air, anti-ground. He's got siege as well with a lot of AoE. You should be going Corruptor Broodlord Zergling with a lot of Corruptor Broodlord, emphasis on the Corruptor Broodlord. Like, do Ling Run-bys or something like that. Or you should be going Lurkers to do an emphasis on killing his Templar and Stalker, backed up by Hydras. And then your Hydras could, like, kill the Interceptors from the Carrier as they try to kill the Lurker. You should be doing one of those two things, not both of them at the same time. You only have 200 supply as a limit here. If you do both, you're going to have this, like, semi-army, and you put them together, and neither one is, like, really effective. Because you don't have enough shit, so you're just going to die. You have no backbone to your army. So you're going to repeatedly run into AoE and die. And you're making... And here's the thing. You're fighting a maxed out Death Ball right now. It's not a Supreme Death Ball because it still has a lot of Stalkers in it. This is not a great unit frame to have either. His Stalkers is the equivalent of you having Hydras and Roaches. That's what his Stalkers are. They're shit. They're literal turds. But here's the problem. Stalkers are not the main aspect of his army. His supply, actually, this is 6, 12, 18 right there in production. And then in his units he actually has, that is 24 in Carrier right there. That is 18 in Colossus right there. That is 26 in Templar right there. And that is 9 in Disruptor right there. That is fucking scary for units like Stalkers or Roach Hydra. Those things are strong as fuck. That will be the equivalent of you having a lot of supply invested into Corruptor Broodlord or Lurker. Like you would have to have like 20 Lurkers right now. Or like 15 Broodlords and like 18 Corruptors to cover that. That's what you should have. But you have none of that. You have 14 Corruptor, which are actually abysmally fucking terrible if they have... because the Corruptor are not actually good by themselves, by the way. They are designed to cover what is good, which is Broodlord. They pair well with Broodlord in this situation, so they cover the Broods. But you have no Broodlords, so Corruptors are effectively pieces of shit. They're terrible now. Like they do... what do they accomplish? Flying in and dying to Storm and Stalker? Yes, that is all they do. There's nothing you can do about his ground push. And there's nothing you can do about his air either, because you won't kill his air faster than his ground will kill your Corruptor. Like you lose every time here with this kind of a composition. And you're sticking yourself to it longer because you're remaking more Corruptor, more Roach, more Hydra, which is again a preventative composition of not allowing him to get here. Once he is here, you will repeatedly die. As we can see, like, look at the resources lost. We'll speed it up at this next one. Well, I want to go back to before you fought him in the first place. Watch this. Watch resources lost as soon as it starts happening. Like, the Protoss is here now. Protoss has lost 3k, okay? You've lost 2k. Protoss has lost 3k. Now, watch how fast you ramp up for resources lost as Zerg. Like, every fight, you just get destroyed. Protoss was behind a second ago by 1,000, and now you're behind by 2,500. Almost, or like 3,000 actually. Like you're getting destroyed, and there's nothing you can do about it because you keep giving yourself an army that can't stop it. This army does not beat this. Your Zerg army does not beat this. And I would say Lurkers would have worked until he has a lot of carriers, and then even then, Lurkers are not going to work anymore. Lurkers are more, once again, of a mid-game push composition. It's like the elevated version of Roach Hydra. Roach Hydra is really good at mid-game pushes because they're really fast. And then when you add in Lurker to it, it can do really well with ground-based focused Protosses that are stuck in the mid-game. But this is not in-game anymore. Or sorry, this is not mid-game anymore. This is now it's becoming in-game Protoss because he's going mass air. So going mass Lurkers is very scary for you. So even then, Lurkers are not going to be the greatest idea here. Instead, you either need to base trade his ass, or you need to like make a diversified composition that can deal with him. And what you've given yourself in terms of options is Carapace Spire. That is your best option to be able to fight back this army. Broodlords with Carapace and Corruptors to cover them. Broodlords kill all the Templar and the Stalker, while Corruptors can zone the carrier while the Broodlord really wins the fight. Because he doesn't have enough carrier right now to justify nothing but anti-air. It's literally mostly ground still. But he is developing into air, so once you deal with this army, you need to be careful about that because he's going to still switch into mass air now. So switching into more Corruptor then after this fight would be totally fine. But again, you're staying on a mid-game composition and you've done literally nothing to control his economy. You killed this base one time in the mid-game on Roach Hydra. Now, I know you killed the Lings with this base early on, but you killed this base one time with Roach Hydra. That was it. And it was while it was just started. Like, you killed it like 10 seconds after it started, which was nice. That was good job on killing it right away. But you didn't kill a single other base the whole time. You just let him have them the whole time. And you sat there and sat there and sat there and sat there. And you let him establish, which becomes way harder to break it once it's established like that. You're not active enough with Roach Hydra when you're sitting on Roach Hydra forever. And I'm going to watch you repeatedly just run into rooms and die, because there's nothing you can do. That's all you can do. Because you've let him get here to this while you chose Roach Hydra. If you chose to let him, here's the thing. If you just let him do this, which is essentially what happened, right? And you skipped the whole Roach Hydra phase and you just went straight up into fucking Broodlord Corruptor, you wouldn't have had 21,000 resources lost, and you could have fought this army with better army or something like that.
Protost, endgame. Mid-game Zerg units die. Invoke the power of top-tier swarm.
Yeah, no, you can't stay on layer tech massing Roach Hydra and beat in-game Protoss. It doesn't work. It does not work. You have to switch your tech. So again, you can play a preventative Zerg style, which is you just break the Protoss' economy repeatedly and you never let him expand. You always starve him out. Or you can allow the Protoss to expand, and you can attempt like little run-bys here and there or whatever, maybe with Lings or something. And you just prepare for the in-game with something that is in-game Zerg, like Infestors, like Corruptors, like Broodlords, something like that. I would also still accept Lurkers at this point in time, but Lurkers are starting to expire because he's going into mass carrier. His carrier count is growing over time. So Lurkers are eventually going to be... You're going to need an answer to the carrier. Lurkers are not the answer to carriers. But they are an answer to Templar, Colossus, and Stalker. They're not bad against that. But yeah, I mean, Corruptors are a good answer to carrier. It's just that you can't stay Roach Hydra and let him be this rich. It makes no sense. Because all that's going to happen is he's going to just have a lot of money to keep making everything he wants with and just kill you with it. So that is where you went wrong. You played a mid-game style and you did nothing in the mid-game. Either if you do nothing in the mid-game, you play faster for a late game, or play a more aggressive mid-game. Those are your options. You can't just go mid-game, 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 and then let him and be very passive about it, and then let him just max out, and then be like, well, mid-game fucking sucks, because it's exactly what it will feel like every time. If you go Roach Hydra and he's equal supply to you with this kind of tech, you've already lost. Don't expect to win those fights. That is not good for Zerg. The only way you win the game, if you go Roach Hydra, is if you have 200 supply and the Protoss has 130 or 140 of shit like this. Which is exactly what we said, right? At like 9:45, you should have been attacking him, not at like 13, 12 minutes. It was way too fucking late. Because you sat there and you sat there and you sat there. So you definitely missed the beat on your windows of opportunity throughout the mid game, and you let and once Protoss is here, it's really hard to deal with. It's still manageable, but tech units are how you're gonna do it, or base trade his ass. Tech units or base trade are your only options, not layer tech units and just engage, because all that's gonna happen is repeatedly Zerg fucking bloodbath of death. It's a Zerg blood pile. It's just mountains of dead bodies of Zerg is all that's gonna happen there if you just keep engaging like that. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps. I would say, I don't really feel like I have to reemphasize, because I'm just gonna say this instead. Watch the early part of this replay analysis again, because that is huge. The way we described how you fell behind with your Lings, that is fucking massive. Okay, that fucked you over more than anything this game, and you could have prevented yourself from being in a position that was this poor if you just didn't overcommit to your bullshit and you actually macroed. You would have been in such like 9:45. I quoted you 9:45, right? And the Protoss had like 130 supply at 9:45. If you maxed out at 8:45, which I think you could have if you did not overcommit and you just fucking macroed behind it, an 8:45 max of Roach Hydra then, and then you could switch into Hive Tech after, that's totally fine. But you could play aggressive at 8:45. Look at just really fast what the Protoss has at 8:45. Guaranteed like 100 supply. 115. He has fucking nothing. You could easily break this dude if you're maxed out right now. 2 Colossus, 1 Sentry, 3 Templar. This is garbage. If you were maxed, I guarantee you could break this base and this base. And then you could choose what you wanted to do. If you broke him really hard, you could be like, fuck it, I'll max again. Break him again. If you break him but you lose a lot of units in the process, you could be like, how about I go mass mutas and kill all of his probes? How about I just go Broodlords and push him with Broodlords now? There's not going to suddenly be fucking like 8 carriers or 6 carriers or whatever. Like, you have way more control if you just had a better mid-game in terms of your development stage. But you developed really slow because you macroed poorly and you overinvested in the early post-ling pressure. So I hope that makes sense. I hope this helps. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck to you Zerg players out there who do things like this, where you try to rotate aggression into a shift into macro. You have to be very assertive about that. You can't just be lazy and slow about it. Otherwise, this happens to you and you just fall behind where you miss your windows of time to do anything afterwards. But I hope it helps. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next replay analysis. And Bargain Gilo, overall, not bad. Thanks for submitting this. Keep up. You apply everything we just talked about, and I guarantee you'll you know, advance as a player. But thank you, man, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, peace, guys.